Hi guys, I just wanted to share something with you. It's something that I get asked about a lot, which is how I've developed experiencing supernatural encounters and how I've grown in that area, both in the prophetic, but also just in meeting with God and getting to know Him for myself. Often people hear Julian's story and they kind of step back a little bit because Julian's a prophet, so it makes sense that a prophet would have encounters. But I get asked this question as someone who isn't a prophet, but someone who is able to prophesy because I'm a daughter of God, so I get to do that. Firstly, I want to say I've developed this in God based on the foundation of knowing that He's a good Papa who wants to speak to me and who is speaking to me, and that He's designed me with everything inside of me to be able to hear Him. I think sometimes we can disqualify ourselves because we don't feel like we have a special gift. But actually, the Bible tells us as children of God that we've been wired with supernatural DNA. He's put His seed in us, which means that we're able to hear Him because we are His children, and that's how we've been designed. So first and foremost, I'd say if you want a journey in experiencing God, in having more encounters with Him, I would want to encourage you to kind of put all that you grow on this foundation, that He's a good Papa who is speaking and you are His child, and by nature of being His child, you have been designed with everything so that you can hear Him. And the second thing I'd say is that just personally, I found that when people started talking to me about some of their own experiences, if I heard someone using big words or kind of impressive words, even words just like I had a vision or had a trance, those words would make me feel like somehow that I was disqualified or disempowered because those words seemed so big and my experiences at that point seemed so small. And so I want to encourage you right from the outset, don't allow yourself to be disempowered or disqualified by the use of spiritual sounding words. In reality, everyone's experiences are different, but words like visions or trances, all they mean is that someone is seeing something in their mind's eye. And so it's like your imagination. It's like what happens when you close your eyes and you see images in front of you. That's simply what a vision is too. So don't be put off by spiritual sounding words. You can have encounters with God because you are His child, and that's what He designed you to have. I want to give you a few handy tools that I've learned. I used to have a lot of static pictures in my mind. So if I closed my eyes, I could just see what almost looked like a photo in front of my eyes. Sometimes not even that clear, but a static image, a standstill image. And I want to encourage you, however you're starting off, whatever you have in your hands is a good place. It's not just small, it's not insignificant. Actually, whatever you have, whether it is that you might say to me, oh, I hear God with just like a little whisper in my mind. That's all I hear. I don't have any visions, I just get a whisper. That's a really great place to start, because all of our first step experiences, if you like my pictures and maybe the whisper that you hear, are a doorway into more. And so this is the first tool and probably the most important tool that I can share with you, something that has transformed my experiences with God, is I recognize that my first step experience was a doorway into more, and God was asking me to engage my imagination to press into the more. Now, sometimes we can get nervous about the use of our imagination because we think, oh, that means I'll be making it up. But actually using our imaginations is incredibly biblical. And the reality is God gave us our imaginations as a setting, as a context to experience Him. If you don't believe me, look in Ephesians 1. It talks about how in partnership with the Holy Spirit who brings wisdom and revelation, the eyes of our hearts should be enlightened. That basically means your imagination should be enlightened. It should be opened up so that you can grasp the hope that you've been called to, so that you can understand the riches of your inheritance, so that you can understand the greatness of His power. Essentially, that means that your imagination is integral to experiencing God and to encountering the kingdom. And so don't discount your imagination. Your imagination is not just you making things up, but is actually a context that God has given you so that you can press in for the more of encounter. And so I want to encourage you with whatever is your first step experience, whether it's a picture or whether it's a still, quiet whisper in your soul, whatever it is, I want to encourage you at that point to close your eyes and to start engaging your imagination, and simply to start asking yourself, if it's a voice that you hear, what might the person who's speaking to me look like? What might the heavenly room where God is look like? And start just pressing in by imagining those things. Or if it's a static picture like I used to experience, I started asking myself, if I saw a door or a garden that was static, I started imagining what that thing would become like if it came alive. And as I started engaging my imagination, I suddenly found that what had started with me pressing in soon became something that was drawing me in and of itself, because it became a very real and vivid encounter. And those static images that I had in my mind's eye actually became gateways to see God, experience Him, and know Him better. And so I want to encourage you as you do this. This really is a journey with Jesus. It's a way of experiencing Him. So fix your eyes on Jesus. Say, Holy Spirit, I want to know you more. I don't want to make things up. I don't want to imagine you in my image. I want to see you for real, but I want the eyes of my heart to be enlightened by you, Holy Spirit, so that I can experience you, so that I can engage with you the way you intended for me to engage with you. And then allow Him to breathe on your imagination, lean in on your imagination, and let Him take you into experiences that you've only hoped for, that you've only imagined before, but now you'll actually get to experience. He's a good papa. He is speaking to you. He designed you to hear Him. This isn't only for special Christians somewhere. This is for every Christian. This is for every child of God. And whatever your first step experience is, don't belittle it. Don't discount it because it isn't a vision or a trance. That is an invitation by God, your first step experience. And so lean into that invitation. Engage your imagination and then trust Him to take you into experiences with Him.